We're here in Ashland City. Cheatham County, Tennessee is a great story of how overall fire protection is a great public policy for the community. It saves lives, it saves money, and it saves firefighters.
The fire chief and some of his staff came to my office one day and had mentioned about sprinkling residential homes. And I'm like, well, I don't think that's too good of an idea. And he's like, well, why not? Well, because it's expensive, and why do you want to flood someone's home with sprinklers when y'all can do it from a fire truck? And he said, well, it doesn't exactly work that way, So he said, tell me what you know about sprinklers. And I said, well, they're usually heat activated, and when they go off, they flood the whole house. And he said, no, Mayor, that's not the way they work. And they had a little trailer that had an exhibit in it, and he said, come outside and let me show this to you. And they got it going, and he showed me how when the head was heat activated, how it would go off, sprinkle about 20 gallons or so of water, and that was it. And I'm like, well, this is new. This isn't what I had expected. And the more that they talked about it, the more it just made perfect sense.
As Economic and Community Development Director, I was surprised when the fire chiefs came to our board to ask us would we consider fire sprinklers, and then I guess curious might have been a better word, but then I was amazed to find out, first and foremost, how long fire sprinklers had been around, and then how easy they are to install, and all of the added benefits that they explained to us. It was easy for me to become a champion for fire sprinklers. We rolled up our sleeves, we got to work, and we planned proactively to build a community that had a very high quality of life. It really is a happy moment for me to see these neighborhoods, to see the families who live within them safe, protected, and growing.
And it's not always about the money, it's about lives, it's something you can't put a price tag on. And when you look at the demonstrations and you see these things happen for real, the damage versus what you can save, it's just a no-brainer. The law had passed in 2001 to have sprinkler systems in all residential structures, new residential structures. Here it is, 2023, and we have about 50% of our homes in Ashland City now that are sprinkled. It's an amazing feeling that you started with something and you actually get to see it to come to fruition.
As chief of the fire department, it makes me feel better knowing we have legislation and we have home fire sprinklers to protect our citizens and to protect our firefighters from getting injured. And so being a small fire department, our manpower is low a lot of times. So fire sprinklers are important to us for the safety of our firefighters.
When they vote something in that tell you have to do it, of course you're like, one more thing, that we have to do, until you learn about it. And then once you learn about it and are educated about it, then you're on board.
So earlier today, we were able to demonstrate the effectiveness of home fire sprinklers. It really is a simple operation and surprising to many people when they're able to see it firsthand. How quickly a fire grows today with modern furnishings, and then just as quickly, how fast the fire sprinkler works to put the fire out.
The same fire you've seen today missing the fire sprinkler component would have been deadly within less than 5 minutes. And that wasn't the case 30 years ago. You had time to exit your home. Now that time has been cut to a matter of minutes.
As a mother of 4 and a new grandmother, it's a huge security blanket. Knowing that they're here in the home, they're safe, just having that peace of mind is just a relief in itself.
We're fortunate that we live in a community where fire sprinklers are required in your home. We built in this subdivision where they are required. So there was no question if we wanted to do it, we was mandated to do it, and we was happy to do it.
As a realtor, when someone comes to me looking for a home, to be honest with you, they don't ask specifically for fire sprinkler because it's not real common. But when they discover it and you tell them about it, they're always happy about it. There's never a negative feedback for it. They definitely view it as an added value to that home. And the demonstrations are priceless, because when you see the demonstration and you see how they work, then that's really when it hits home.
A firefighter going into a house fire with sprinklers usually encounters light smoke. By the time we get there, it's usually extinguished or just smoldering. Now, a fire that doesn't have home sprinklers, the time we get there, is usually it's total loss. So flashovers, the worst thing a firefighter could face. They rarely survive them, even with the protective gear that we have. So with the sprinkler homes, they may still have a fire, but the temperatures are much lower, and the smoke is most of the time a lot less. So it's just a lot less dangerous for the firefighter.
There are always barriers to any public policy that's good, especially in regard to fire sprinklers. We overcame those by conducting educational workshops. We went to our county commission and city councils and even the state legislature. We did demonstrations for them. We also worked with the insurance purveyors to do a demonstration for them, bring them to actual houses. We used acquired structures to bring all the stakeholders to the table, the builders and developers.
From a personal standpoint, it's been awesome to work with the fire department, work with the builders, and just the reaction that we got from our community, knowing that we were doing something to help protect them, knowing that we have hopefully have saved lives, not only our firefighters, but residents here. That's huge.
Everything that you call most precious at your home is protected with home fire sprinklers. It really is peace of mind and protecting what you value most.
At a very young age, as a child, we lost our home. I have very few baby pictures left of me because they burned up. And my kids won't have that problem because they live in a sprinklered home.